Take a stick, Sean, take 2, marker.
Welcome to the Watch This podcast, where we're going to watch a bunch of movies and talk about them and hopefully make our watch list a little bit shorter. Today, we're talking about Yi Yi, which was picked by Johnny.
Yeet.
Welcome back to the podcast, the Watch This podcast. This is episode numero 4. I'm not going to say quattro. Frick, I just said it. Okay. Welcome to episode number 4. Yeah, I'm excited for this one. The movie was really good. I am Obed, and with us is Asher.
What's up, guys? I'm Asher, and over here is Johnny.
Whoa, I'm Johnny, and the last one, the best one, the greatest one here is Sean.
Hey man, that's too nice. Hi guys, I'm Sean, ready to do a podcast.
Israel and Chase will not be with us today, this time around, but that's not a problem. We'll just keep going. I almost didn't make it today, so it ended up working out with who we have. So
Me neither. I almost didn't make it.
It almost
It was a
became
very
just
late
Asher
recording today.
and Sean. All right.
It's a special episode.
Yeah. Let's go over some details of this movie. We read the synopsis last week, so we won't read it again. But the movie pick this for this week is Yi Yi. It was 174 minutes long, very long. It was released in the year 2000. It is not rated. It was directed by Edward Yang. It's comedy drama, streaming on Criterion as of recording this. And it also has an 8.1 out of 10 on IMDb, and on Letterboxd it has a 4.5 out of 5, which I think it earned that rating very well.
Oh, but I
Spoilers.
must say, you
Yeah.
really have a podcast voice. I really just love listening to your voice. Anyways,
Thank you.
Very smoothing.
you're welcome.
We just need a podcast of Oped just talking about himself.
Oh, heck no.
Very smoothing.
I'm good.
I thought you had one.
Huh?
I thought you had one.
Yeah, I started it, and then I was like, I don't want to sit here talking to myself. That's why I started this one. So that way it's
That's
us
funny.
talking, bro.
A quick side note, like, on Letterboxd, if you have Patreon, you can choose the posters for the film. I'm on Yee, and I was trying to choose my poster, and for whatever reason, one of the, like, it's all Yee posters except the last one says there's like a poster for Terrence Malick's The Thin Red Line. I kind of want to put it just to be funny.
That's funny.
It's so random.
Letterbox, if you're listening, make sure you get on that.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, Robert Eggers, if you're listening, we love Nosferatu.
I've only seen 2 of his movies. I gotta watch more. Anyway, back to Yi.
Yeah, that was officially the fastest we've gotten off track. Yay.
New record.
It's only been like 2 minutes.
My bad.
That was three minutes in. Maybe less. Okay. Yeah, so I read the information about the movie. Last week, Asher, you got to speak first about Edge of Tomorrow because it was your pick. So this time, Johnny, since this film was your pick, you get to share your thoughts first. If you want to.
Okay. So I picked Yi Yi without knowing anything about this. My homie from film school, I think he said this like one of his favorite movies. So like, oh, might as well watch it. And man, what a movie.
I thought you said meh for a second.
No. Like what a movie. It's going in, I knew it was kind of going to be like an art house, slow, not really hold your hand, but it was so beautiful. It's a beautiful movie.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think you should watch it if you're listening. Just give it a chance. I know it's not your typical Hollywood blockbuster, but give it a chance. Give it a chance. Anyway, what are your thoughts? Anyone's thoughts?
I guess I'll go. Yeah, I've been like recently falling in love with slow movies a lot, and so this was like really good timing. I just love how much the film is not begging the audience to like pay attention to it. There's something I heard Paul Schrader talk about, and he was saying like with slow meditative movies, like you kind of have to do the opposite of what a conventional like narrative plotty film does, where basically it's trying to grab the audience by the neck and just say like love me, pay attention to me, care about me, empathize. And while you can do all those things with the meditative slow film, this it's not like forcing you to. It's not really trying to like crazy opening scene with a crazy inciting incident and like, but it's so beautiful. One of my favorite things about this film was that it really just felt and they kind of self-referenced this movie, but it just felt like replicated life, which there's a scene where two of the characters kind of talk about how movies are like life but double and kind of like dreams, and I really love that. But I also love how it was shot and lit because it really felt very, very naturalistic. It never looked lit. Scenes like never looked lit. It looked very natural. I know it was obviously intentionally lit, but it doesn't look, like a lot of films look like when there's like overlighting or super like harsh contrast, things like that. But it's still so beautiful, so beautiful. And yeah, the slow pacing is great. I mean, I don't even remember like if any scenes. Gosh, I mean, like, very few scenes had multiple pieces of coverage. Most of the scenes played out in just wide takes that would either dolly or pan,
Mm-hmm.
and I love that so much. And it's just such precise framing and blocking, and the transformative blocking was so good. I really love the shot when one of the characters is like staring out the window. She was like at her office late, and we see her reflection in the window. We see the city lights, and then we see somebody come in and turn all the background lights on, and it just creates this incredible reflection. And then we dolly to see like the silhouette of two characters, and it's just very dreamy cinema and very it's one of those movies you can just kind of sit and like ponder with. It's not really,
Mm.
yeah, and I really like that kind of film where you just kind of can chill with it. There's a director, I'm trying to remember his name. He made the film Taste of Cherry, but he said like he actually likes making movies that put people to sleep because there's something beautiful about like how that interacts with your like subconscious or something like that, and how
Mm-hmm.
it's like just something you can kind of like hang out with. I really love that idea. I don't like it is a little scary because I feel like if you don't do it right, then you're just gonna like not make a good movie. But yeah, it's really good filmmaking. I really loved it.
I Another movie I watched with my mom, and she fell in love with it, and I fell in love with it. And despite how slow it is, how long it is, the pacing was really good.
Yeah.
Like a whole hour and a half went by, and I didn't even notice. I was just I was so invested in these characters, and they're just living everyday life and not living the best of it, to be honest, most of the time. And I was just like, oh, this is what I want to watch. This is what I love seeing. Not only in story, but like you mentioned, cinematography as well, which is just I love I love the blocking and the lighting and that reflection shot. Yeah, there was two. There was the one in the office, and there was another one somewhere else.
There
The
was one
hotel.
in the hotel. There was one in, I think it was Yang Yang's apartment. Um and yeah, so there was a few. It's so beautiful. Yeah.
They did them really well.
You watched it with your mom?
I did, yeah. I
Dude,
got
that's
home and I
great.
was like, I need to watch this movie for the podcast. Are you gonna watch it with me? And she's like, yep. And she
Yo,
got
I
so
love that.
invested, I had to stop it early to set up. And she was like, "Can I watch it? Can I continue?" I was like, "You need to wait till I finish it,"
That's
because I
so
didn't remember where I
funny.
was.
It's so interesting to me how like um I feel like I don't know if I'm not trying to necessarily take it on a tangent, but I find that older generations do better with slower paced films, even though there's a lot of longer films now. Like I showed my dad Memoria, which like it's a 2 hour and 12 minute film, and it has maybe 20 cuts in the entire movie.
Dang.
Like it's like 15-minute wide shots and super slow, and he like loved it, and I was like surprised. But I've shown my dad a lot of slow movies, and he really likes them.
Are you calling my mom old?
Oh my God.
It's a different
No,
generation.
I'm
It's a different generation.
I'm joking.
calling her
Harder.
ancient.
Whoa.
But one thing you got me thinking about with like the pacing is that this movie really it's not trying to hit you in the face with the theme. It's really like letting you watch these characters go through very long processes and live out these moments to kind of like come to these thematic conclusions, which I feel like a lot of plotty movies like don't do. They're trying to like rush you into like the thematic ideas and like, oh, here's the theme stated, here's, and like obviously there's thematic dialogue in this film, but it's kind of like it's more realistic because I feel like as humans, when we're like learning things and learning about mistakes or different things, like we really do, it takes like a long time. Like it might take a year to realize like, oh, I was in this relationship, I realize this relationship doesn't work, but you don't learn that in 2 hours, you learn that in a year. And like I feel like this film really respected the idea that it is a slow process to kind of come to certain conclusions.
It's like you were living life with them. Asher, before we started recording,
Yeah.
you mentioned that this movie's just about life.
Yes.
And that's what it's like being an audience member. It's like you're living with them. So like you're learning the theme as they're learning the theme. If that
Yeah.
makes sense. Which I think is pretty cool because yes, they do hint at it early on and you see all the pieces come together just like your average film, but you don't notice it till the end. And you know, depending on the films you watch, especially if they're following something like the 15 Beats, for example, it becomes more obvious to find it, I guess, if you will. But in this case, it was just, oh, I had to live this experience to understand what was said earlier.
Mm-hmm. It's the film where it's like you had to be there to understand it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's not really a film to like explain.
Yeah.
Because yes, it is slow, but it's a good slow. The film has taken its time to explore this story and these group of characters. And what I really enjoy about this film is that these group of characters are all relatable because
Yeah.
they're just people like us.
And they
We all have a
they make
past.
really bad decisions. Maybe not even really bad, but they just make very believable human kind of like in the moment impulsive decisions that a lot of people do.
Like,
So,
hey, don't make that decision. I made that decision, but don't make the decision.
yeah.
That's
like,
why
I know where it's
think this movie's
going.
beautiful. It's so real. Like it's like very realistic of like human nature and feelings. Especially feelings is a huge one, especially with the character AJ, with the other woman who he hasn't talked to in 30 years, and now he has like a whole different life with a kid and all that. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy to think about. You know, like these are just everyday things, honestly. Like this probably happens to people all the time, running into people that you used to talk to and catching up, figuring out why they did that in the first place. It's just that's why I think movies should be more like this, guys. Relate it to life. Write what you know. Write what you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the director did here. He knew that life is not perfect and never will be, but it's totally worth it, you know?
Yeah, I agree. And I think kind of what you're saying, like it is because thinking about the thematic ideas, I don't like saying like, oh, it's like about life because that feels so like general, but I think in the best, most specific way it is about growing up in life, because kind of you see a lot of these characters want these youthful things, and they keep trying to get their youth back and they can't, except for like, and then the younger ones are like growing up and realizing that it's kind of a cruel world. Like people are dying, people
Sucks.
are unfair, people hurt each other, people that love each other don't stay together, and like it's just this weird coming of age
Life is not
story where it's
easy.
not um unlike a lot of coming of age where it's kind of like bittersweet. Like in a sense it is, but like it is sort of the I think the tragic loss of innocence is what I felt with this film.
And the
Mm-hmm.
attempt to regain it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So true.
Going
And
back
the
to
film
Such a
feels
great way to
so
put it.
nostalgic. Sorry, go ahead.
no, just added on, like going back to your youth when you were happier. Like that's
Or at
what
least when you think you were
NJ
happier.
is. Yeah.
Right.
Then you go back to someone who's in their youth, like Ting Ting. Um, she's like she's like a love girl. Like she lives in like her dream world, her like her fantasies in her. Cause she I believe she reads a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
like even one of her quotes in this movie, what is it? It's uh, it's why is the world so different from what we thought it was? Now that you're
Yeah,
awake
yeah.
and see it
Right.
again, has it changed at all? Now I've
Mm-hmm.
closed my eyes, the world I see is so beautiful, and it
Yeah.
just shows how
Oof.
like each of these characters are so complex. Like you can follow one person and that can be just
Right.
one movie the whole
Even the
time.
little
That's so
boy,
true.
bro.
No,
Even
literally.
I was
Those
about to,
questions
Little
he
boy was
asked.
going through it, man.
Also, when we first see his like first photos, I was like, man, those are so good. That's so artistic.
Yes.
And then the teacher starts making fun of him. Like, is this avant-garde art? I'm like, yo, it is, bro. Like,
That teacher sucked,
yo, he
man.
really does,
Always
bro.
bullied him.
But his last pictures of like the back of people's heads, oh my gosh, that was stunning. That
and
was
the
such,
reason
yeah,
the
yeah,
reason he was like, because you never see the back of your head,
right.
so here's your chance to see it. Like what? He's a
That's
Oh,
so
I didn't
child.
even
crazy.
notice that. That's crazy.
Ah,
Yeah.
dude, that's
That's
so crazy.
deep, man.
And
Did
he
you
That's
started
guys
really freaking
laughing.
deep.
did you guys peep the Phantom Menace poster that showed up in the movie?
There's a
No.
lot
Yes.
of them.
Yeah, when the one couple is walking outside the theater, there's movie posters and there's a Phantom Menace poster. I thought it was so
Yo.
funny.
Which is funny because it was probably filmed in
Yeah,
1999 because it came
exactly.
out in
Yeah,
2000.
exactly. So I was thinking about that too. So
I
I
miss
thought it was
But
funny.
when movies looked and felt like this.
Right, right. I realize a lot of like modern slow art house films kind of just take inspiration from just like old movies. Because
Yeah.
old movies would just do long takes because that's just how movies kind of started out. There just wasn't a lot of coverage, and then we
Like
got into a
theater.
lot of coverage, and then like a lot of modern art filmmakers are like, oh wait, it's actually interesting what they did, and then are going back to that, and then it's just funny that we keep trying to like as the technology is getting better, a lot of filmmakers are actually going back to like the old things.
Yeah.
Like more film grain, more shoot on film. Like there's a lot of directors shooting on film now. And like just going back to using old lenses or making movies look like they were shot a long time ago, like The
Mhm.
Lighthouse or sort of like what's the Fincher film, Mank, which I mean,
Oh
I
yeah.
mean that's sort of like it does feel very old, minus the fact that it's widescreen aspect ratio. Um,
Well, widescreen's old.
well,
Like
it
it's
is. I think that, or I
it
can't
was more.
remember. I think there was something about the time period that they were trying to emulate. I don't think had widescreen yet. I could be wrong.
Oh okay. But
So
I
it would have.
like widescreen's been around.
Yeah, it's been around a
Once
long time.
TV was introduced, and they were like, we gotta compete.
Yeah,
That's when they went
yeah,
widescreen. I mean, we had green screen in what, the 30s, maybe something like that.
that's crazy.
Did I say green
That's
screen?
crazy.
I meant to say 3D.
Oh,
I don't know
that's
why I said
wild.
green screen.
You know what's
I was
also
like,
crazy? Like
dang.
imagine, um, I was listening to. Okay, no, I'm going too off tangent. We're talking about
Just
Yee.
say it.
I was listening to an A24 podcast with this A24 director called Joanna Hogue, and she was doing the podcast with Martin Scorsese, and like he's like her mentor because when he was shooting Hugo, like the British Film Institute sent him like a copy of her film, and he didn't like the first 15 minutes and turned it off, And then he was like, but I couldn't stop thinking about it. And then I went back and finished it. And then he met up with her and now he's like her mentor. I'm like, can you just imagine, bro?
Bro.
Like what's so crazy.
That's
Imagine
crazy.
imagine this man just doesn't like your movie. He's like, well, nah, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
No, literally, that's crazy. That's
At that
insane.
point, did you make a good movie or was it just interesting enough?
Yeah, she's a good filmmaker for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah, the films that she's recently made were The Souvenir Part 1 and 2. And it's like these kind of improvised films that are semi-autobiographical about her making a film about this character making a film in film school,
Hmm.
but it's like based on her like life in film school.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
That broke my brain right now.
right. Anyways, so back to Yi, where was the most captivating scene for you guys?
I liked
Um,
when. Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and say it while I leave
go
Asher
ahead, go ahead.
in suspense and Johnny too. I liked when was it Ado? Ado was meeting with NJ,
Yeah,
and they were just talking about music and stuff like that. Shot in the car,
bro.
I think, was one of my favorite
Yeah.
things. And then also
That's
I
mine.
love Ado. Oh my God,
when
he's such a good
he's
character.
I loved everything with him. And then also the little boy. What's the little boy's name again? Cool.
Let me
I
see.
forget.
The little boy. When he was in the
Yang
car
Yang,
with his
Yang
dad
Yang.
and they were asking questions, I was like, oh, this
Oh,
is
it's Yang
It
Yang.
was
Yeah,
Yang Yang.
yeah,
Okay.
Yang Yang.
yeah.
Yang
Also,
Yang or
then I
Ying Yang?
reference it's Yang Yang,
Okay.
but also
Yeah,
I'm gonna
Yang Yang.
revise. Earlier I called the girl Yang Yang. No, that's Ting Ting. But yeah, the little boy is Yang Yang. Okay, continue.
No offense, these names are just confusing.
Uh,
Yeah, those were my favorite shots.
Also, speaking of Otto, the funniest introduction to like more of his character was when they were in the bar and then he was like, do you play piano? And then he's like, no, I suck at piano. He's like, do you play piano? And then it just like hard cuts
Boom,
to
boom.
him like killing it on the piano.
This movie
That
was
was
funny
so
at
You're
funny.
talking
times.
about
It was so funny
Mhm.
sometimes, bro. Like, dude, when
uh,
they talk about the kid who murdered the teacher and it like becomes a video game.
Yes.
So crazy.
you're talking about it's not Otto. Otto's that's the knockoff. That's a girl.
Oh, okay.
That's the
ATO?
one that like yeah, ATO. It gets
Oh,
trying to find it.
Ota is the Japanese
Yeah,
He's
guy.
Odo.
Yeah,
he's
sorry
from
I mixed them
guys.
Japan,
up. I
Yeah,
right?
mixed
yeah,
them
he's
up.
the one from Japan.
So
Yeah.
Otto and Ota.
Yeah.
Okay. So Ota.
I'm not gonna
Ota,
I'm not gonna
yes.
lie.
The goat.
Whenever they started speaking English, it threw me off. I was like, whoa, what?
I
What
was like,
happened here?
I can look up finally without having to read subtitles. Great.
No, but yeah, that's my favorite scene too. Them bonding over music because he was like, I gave up on that dream because they kept saying it doesn't pay bills and stuff like that. And he's like, what? Music is important, and I'm like, you gotta, it means something. It's impactful. I'm like, yes, I love this. Those moments like that are always like so important for like anyone, because it's not just about music. It's about your dreams. Don't let anyone like take you down. Just because it's not the best right now doesn't mean it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Mhm. And even if things didn't work out the way you wanted them to, like that doesn't mean they're bad. Like with NJ going to Japan and trying to meet up with the girl and getting very close to just throwing his whole life away. At least that's what it seemed like. And then no, like he has his family, he goes home and they're there and he supports them and they support him. So I mean, as soon as he got there, he got sick and he woke up and his daughter was taking care of him. Meanwhile, when he was in Japan, he kept having to take care of the lady because she kept freaking out. So it was like the first time in that whole week he was there that he was being supported as equally as he supports. That was cool.
Yeah.
I think my favorite scene is that in that arc, that part of the movie is when like he knocks like the last time before she leaves, like I never love anyone else. I was like, oh,
Yeah. And then you
like,
just see her crying and like
Oh,
that was so real. I love
oh,
that
that
so
got
much.
me. I'm like, no, what are you doing? And then the next day, you see him just like, what's happening?
It's like
What's going on?
unfulfilled
And then
love
he
in
has
movies
the,
is so painful.
and then he has, and then the people his job calls him say, hey, we're signing with Otto. And he's like, what? You gotta have no respect for each other yourself. You got, or you have, um, Oda's he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Why are we
And
do
the
going to this knockoff? You
yeah.
guys are wrong. And then he quits his job,
Yeah.
essentially, and he's happier. I mean,
Oh,
he is sick,
100%.
but he does look happier. And
His
yeah,
his relationship with her kind of reminded me of like past lives a little bit. They're kind of like they liked each
mm-hmm.
other in childhood and then they like reunite later and um not like exactly, but it kind of did play with that idea and I think that's a really interesting idea to play around with in the film because I was thinking as I was watching it, I'm like, man, like watching this makes me like want to have these moments, but I'm too scared to have these moments. Like not really. Like I'm pretty spontaneous and adventurous, so like I try not to
It's
hold back,
true.
but like I don't know, there are certain times where you're like, you kind of do want to
Cautious.
confess your love to somebody, but you're trying to be, yeah, you're trying to be cautious and calculated. You're like, but it's like, I don't know. It's just seen Little Women too much where like Lori and Joe just kind of have it out on the mountainside. But
I love you, Joe.
oh
I
my gosh.
never stop loving you, or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, you'd hate my scribbling. I'd hate elegant society. We'd be miserable. He's like, I'd rather hang myself than hear this, Joe. And then like a week later, he proposes to her sister.
It's a
Wild.
mess of a movie or a story, not a
Yeah.
movie, a story.
Yeah, right. So good.
I enjoyed it though.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
Okay.
someone.
Lots of drama.
Huh?
Lots of drama.
Oh yeah, 100%. Someone would call me crazy for liking Little Women. Logan. I don't know if you guys. Yeah, you guys know Logan.
I
from
meet
Trim-
other men who are like, you like Little Women? That's weird. I'm like, guys, like, what are you talking about?
No, he was like, "How can you like that movie? It's horrible." I was like,
Yo, that's crazy.
"Okay."
We think of the same Logan, like
From Truman and Logan.
the one from. Oh, that Logan.
But
Okay.
did he know you were
He
talking
doesn't. He
about
doesn't like.
2019 Little Women? Because there's like 15 Little Women's.
I believe he knows I'm talking about 2019.
Okay. Yeah.
That came out in
What? Little
2019.
Woman.
Yeah.
2019 Little Woman is amazing. It's so good.
I saw it in theaters with my mom right before I broke up with like my first girlfriend.
Oh boy.
And I was driving home, we were talking about the movie, and then I started crying because I was telling her like I'm gonna break up with my girlfriend. Yeah.
No, the Little Woman goaded.
Well,
Speaking
that's
of breaking up with girlfriends
huh?
in Yee Yee, I say speaking of breaking up with girlfriends in Yee Yee,
What a
dude,
transition.
they,
Good job.
Johnny, you got something on your
dude,
mind?
dude, Ting Ting got done dirty by
Yeah.
Fatty.
Yeah.
I'm like, that girl literally brought him up from this depression because of what's her name, the neighbor.
Lily?
Yeah.
Lily?
Yeah, Lily.
It's like the only name I could remember.
And they had the kids. They had that scene. I think they went to like a hotel, and then she just stays outside the door. You see him there, and she leaves. And then I think like literally the next couple days, you see her walk to like the apartment. He's on his bike, and Lily comes out and like bye bye. Like, oh no,
Yeah. It's
I
crazy.
fell for I fell for her. I
Literally.
felt
And it was so sad. I immediately hated that guy. I was like, frick you. Don't like you.
One thing I
So
also loved
rude.
about the film was like the silent moment. There's like a part where Yang Yang jumps in the pool and you think like he drowns, like it just
Oh
kind
my
of holds
gosh.
for
Oh,
like
dude.
15 seconds, and I was like, oh wow.
Oh,
And then
That got me.
yeah,
I
that
was
I was like, no
I
way.
was like, no way
yeah,
they killed him. Of
yeah,
everybody
Not
on
Yang
of
here,
all
Yang.
of all people. But there were so many good silent moments. There's also the part where um when crap the names, like the one girl is cheating, like the guy and girl are cheating with the other girl's boyfriend, right? I'm getting that
The
right.
music one?
No,
Oh,
the like
there's a lot
the
of cheating in this movie.
well, they go to a hotel and then they just stand there, and then he's like, "This isn't right," and he leaves. But there's like a whole like minute of silence before it happens,
yeah,
and I
Fatty
just
and
love,
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah,
yeah.
right,
Yeah, that's yeah.
yeah. So I really love how the film like utilizes silence, and it doesn't cut away when like
Powerful.
modern movies would. So
it
yeah,
just lets the moment breathe
right, right,
and happen. Like
exactly.
that's one of the issues I have with so many modern films, short films and features in general,
Yeah.
is the idea of getting coverage. I don't like it.
Yeah, yeah. It gets in the way a lot of artistry, you know? There one time, Denis Villeneuve was talking, they were shooting, he was talking about when they were shooting Sicario, and they had planned like a wide and some close-ups for this shot, like on the highway when like Emily Blunt's character gets out the car, and then they shot the wide, and then Denny turned to Roger and he was like, nope, we're good. We just need the wide. And then Roger's like, "Are you sure you don't want the close-ups?" He's like, "No, because if I shoot the close-ups, I'm gonna be tempted to cut to them in post, and I don't want to do that." And I was like,
Mm.
"Man, I love that. I love that like
Mhm.
confidence." So
I started off making films like I initially said I shoot to edit. So
yeah,
I just want to shoot and I'll figure out how I want to put it
yeah,
together later.
uh-huh,
But as I've learned and as I've grown in my appreciation for films and understanding for what they mean, I
right,
realized that I absolutely hate that kind of filmmaking.
yeah,
And
it's
I'd
Mhm.
true.
rather you have one very long shot that's
Yeah,
well blocked, well lit,
you're right.
well rehearsed, well
Mm-hmm.
framed, than a bunch of meh shots, especially if you're cutting
Right.
between dialogue. That's just irritating.
Yeah, yeah, right. And yeah, I think it depends too on like the kind of story you're telling. Like some films will require that faster sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
um I remember I used to hate like long lenses when I really got into Terrence Malick. But then like I started seeing films like Good Time where it was like a very artistic use of long lenses and it's very chaotic and neon and like I really like that. It's cinema's about a balance. There's never like even I forgot I was listening to a podcast today and I think it was Scorsese was saying like it's really not even whether film is better than digital. It's just like some stories are better to be shot on film and some are better to be shot on digital, but they're just tools, you know. So it's cool to watch movies like Yi, and it's cool to watch movies or watch shows like The Bear that are like very different to like, you know, or other films like we're doing on the show. Um, to kind of get all of these tools so we know when we're making like a film and we're depending on the story we're telling we know what tools to take from when we watch like these different films.
Asher, you look like you've had thoughts in your head.
Get
Um,
them thoughts
I
out.
love this movie. I don't know. I don't know if I have thoughts. I'm just processing, because it was a lot, but it was a good a lot.
Yeah,
It's like a movie I'll rewatch in like 5 years.
Mm,
I'll be like,
yeah,
this is gonna be my 5 year
I
movie.
agree.
Like every 5 years I'll watch this.
dang.
And that's not saying it's bad. That's not me saying, oh, it's so boring, I'm not gonna watch it again for a while. No, I
It's a
think it
full
deserves
meal,
like its
that's why.
own.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah.
own special spot.
I agree.
Like I'll go to you when I need you, and I know I'm gonna need this film again soon,
Yeah,
like in
yeah,
5 years
for
or maybe
sure.
even sooner. You never know.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
it's definitely it's art. Film is art, and this was not even just visually because the frames were great. I love the cinematography in this film. Shooting wide is awesome. It's fun. But but just the story and the characters, and I liked the music. The music was great.
Yeah.
I thought it was, and lack of better words, I thought it was pretty. But it's just it's a film that's like, I feel like it will touch anyone, you know. Like, I know there's a lot of people who are gonna be like, I don't want to watch this because it's so slow. Give it a chance, please.
Yeah.
Just try. Or they won't watch it because they're like, it's not in English. Watch foreign films.
Oh, yeah.
They're great.
They are.
They're amazing.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they're
my
better.
goodness. You know, for real. I've been
Most of
watching
the
a lot
time.
of foreign films lately.
Huh?
And I'm like, what the heck's going on in America?
Yeah,
What'd you say,
literally.
Sean?
I said most of the time. No, I'm kidding. There's some great American cinema, but there's
I mean,
so much good.
Life is Beautiful is one of my favorite films, and
Yeah.
it's not
It's a
in
great
English.
movie.
It's in
Amazing.
Italian.
We were watching that in my film class.
Yeah.
It's one of
Since-
those. Sorry, Yee is one of these movies that, like you said, Ashley, you'll come back to it every 5 years, and you'll feel different every single time because you might relate to a different
Yeah.
part of it.
Exactly.
It can
There's so
grow
much.
with you because there's the kids, there's the adults, there's the teenagers, there's the grandma who's dead. So maybe one day I'll watch it when I'm old and I'll be like, "Yep, I'm the grandma
Damn.
right now."
Hearing
yeah,
his
I'm in a
own
coma.
problems.
I'm in a coma.
Or you might
It's
be
like,
the
I'm gonna
mom.
read me the
who has, like, a
newspaper.
you'd be the mom have like a spiritual crisis and
Mhm.
goes to the mountains and realizes she has wasted her time in the mountains.
Yeah.
wearing your Bluetooth hearing aids.
AirPods?
Bruh.
In the year 1999. Oh my goodness.
Sean, can you send me a link to that podcast you were listening to? I'll put it in the show notes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely want to listen to that too.
Yeah, let me see.
You can just send it in the general chat and it'll be linked below for everyone listening.
Right.
We really, 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 really like this movie.
Yeah, phenomenal.
Is there anything
What
we
did you
don't
guys
like?
David
not like
chose it.
about it?
I just asked that. What don't we like?
Wish it was longer.
No,
So-
I disagree.
I'm against that.
I'm just kidding.
I gave okay.
I'm just kidding.
My critique is, I feel like it could have been shorter. Not saying that the 3 hours are bad, but I did feel like there was so much it did drag along. But now I'm reevaluating because what Sean, who was it that said in here like let scenes speak for themselves in quiet
Yeah,
moments? Was
yeah.
that you, Sean?
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, he had a point. It wasn't just awkward silence. It was letting the scene breathe. So maybe, I don't know. I fully don't really know, but I guess it could have been a little bit shorter, even though I like long movies.
Yeah.
I also need to watch more slow movies too.
Right. It's an acquired
need-
taste. It really is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to get out of my comfort zone for this.
And it takes so much
Yeah.
time
Enjoy
to
it.
watch, bro. Because if so this one, the pacing was great, so time kind of flew. But if it's a slow movie that's good, but the pacing isn't great, it's kind of painful, at least for me.
Right.
I'm not someone
Yeah.
who needs a fast movie, but I do think today movies are way too long. And you can have the occasional, 3-4 hour movie like Yee or Justice League or Irishman or Lawrence of Arabia.
It's like 4 hours long, guys. Prep yourself for that.
It's wild. We should watch that like
That's not next week though.
8-hour
That's
Holocaust
weeks ahead.
film.
Yeah, hint that movie's coming up.
I think by the time a director is making a 3-hour cut, it's a very intentional, like, I think it's less about I really need all of these 3 hours and more like I'm purposely trying to make this a very slow movie. Like the film could have been shorter, but that's the thing, it would have been a different film.
It's true.
It's like I know with Robert Eggers' The Northman, they shot a lot of the scenes in one take. And it was the only film out of the 3 he had made where he didn't have final cut like power to get the final cut he wanted. So the studio was like, you got to make the pace quicker. And so then he had to cut like shots that were not meant to be cut, like chopped up. And so I think
Hmm.
like yeah, it would have been a different movie. Who knows? Like maybe it would be better, maybe it'd be worse. But I think that
It's a good movie.
when
It's
oh
a
yeah, the
good
Northman.
movie.
I still need to watch the Northman, dude. That I haven't seen it.
It's Lion King. It's Hamlet. It's based off Hamlet.
Yo, it is. Yo,
It's
oh my god, Johnny
Ham-
just blew my mind.
it's wild. It's so funny. But yeah, Eggers is another person who does like slow one takes and doesn't do a lot of coverage, which I really like. Like Nosferatu was a lot of oneers, wide shots, and it was very beautiful. And
You
I'm
said
really glad that
Edgars,
Robert Eggers, Eggers,
Edgars, and Edward.
yeah. But I'm glad there's been a resurgence of slow movies. Most recently, like there was a film called Janet Planet. It was the A24 directorial debut by Annie Baker, and it's just like kind of this movie about this little girl who doesn't feel like she fits in. It's just about her summer and like her mom's different relationships, and it's so slow, but it's so good, so beautiful, and I just really love that directors are being bold to make really slow movies. Um, yeah, so it's fun. It's a
Can I
challenge
build
too.
off of that?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, I'm gonna go to like the cutting, like the editing. So I'll build into this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So recently, not that long ago, me and my family were watching the Michael Bay Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, and my mom pointed out how she didn't like it, and I was like, you know, I agree, but why do you not like it?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I don't like the editing.
Yeah.
It's too many
Yeah.
cuts, and I'm like,
Yep.
that's exactly. She said it was very hard to follow because there were so many cuts in the action and just not even just in the action, just
Yeah,
dialogue that she
dialogue.
was like, why is there so many
Yeah.
cuts for just one scene? And I'm like, you have a great point because even like I was watching it, I'm like, what is going on here? It is pretty fast. I mean, that's just my opinion on the live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but I was like, there is a lot of cuts going on here, and that might just be a Michael Bay thing because pretty sure Transformers has like the same thing.
Yep.
But
And Ambulance.
I don't know. Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen Ambulance. I heard it was bad.
It has a ton of really cool drone shots, and that's all the movie has going for it.
Yeah, and
But
like
yeah, I was just
So forgettable.
let scenes flow.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
just let it. Don't cut it.
right.
Just because it's long doesn't mean it's bad.
Yeah. If you look at old like martial arts movies, or well, those are a good example. They just kind of hold a wide,
They do, yeah, they really do.
and you see the fighting, whether it's they're doing it for real or they're faking it, whatever they've chosen to do. But or older films in general, when they're doing fighting,
Yeah.
they're not doing this all cutting on every punch and
Yeah.
all that stuff. They spend the time to rehearse the action and they make it look good. And
Yeah,
it
that's
it
true.
feels more powerful just getting to watch it as if you're a bystander rather than getting to see a perspective that only a camera gets to see, because otherwise you'd get hurt being that close. It's,
Right, and like
Go ahead.
the average. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Were you gonna say something else?
No, I wasn't. I started and then I was like, I don't
Oh.
have anything to say.
That's fair. Like the average shot duration now is 2.5 seconds, which is insane. And
That's
what I
crazy.
just looked up was that in 1930 the average shot was 12 seconds. And so it's like
Dang.
crazy that
We're going down.
yeah, how fast, especially if you watch modern television, bro. Oh my goodness, like they are.
Well, yeah,
there's,
especially
like,
45-minute episodes.
yeah, there's like,
Oh,
and the thing is like it's because studios want to be safe about um getting all the coverage so that it's not boring to audiences, right? And so it's less about the art and more about like, and I get it, like they got to make their money, but um, so it's cool when and I realize that directors that are making slow movies, they're intentionally breaking a lot of the American like film conventions of like, for example, like start as late as possible and leave as early as possible, right? Like I remember Paul Schrader was talking about First Reformed, and he's like, I'm intentionally like instead of cutting with the character already sitting down, like I'm starting when the character's walking down the stairs, coming in the room, and then sitting down, and then watching him leave and shut the door. And like that it trains the audience to be like, okay, we're not like going 100 miles per hour. But I think with slower films, it does allow you to meditate more. That's what I realized in watching After Sun this past time, and I've seen it like probably 7 times now, but this last rewatch was my favorite because I fully gave myself to it when I was watching it. I felt like it's like transcendent. Like it really, you're like in dialogue with the film rather than like the dialogue like punching you in the face with its themes, ideas, and characters. It's more like you're sitting here and you're like having this like service, you know, with the film. And so that's what I really love about slow movies. And there's a time and a place for like quicker paced movies. Like, don't get me wrong, I love My Social Network like a lot, but it's great to just chill with slow movies sometimes.
Yeah, and
Slow, slow.
like you said, there's a place for both fast and slower cuts.
Yeah,
Like The Social Network, I believe they just shot both both close-ups or medium close-ups.
they
They're
did
close-ups.
2 cameras for the dialogue scenes.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
because they knew how they wanted to cut that one together, but
right.
that fast cutting plays into it's not there just because they needed to cut it together because the dialogue didn't
Right.
work. It's there because it's supposed to emphasize sort of the
Yeah,
speed
it's
of
the
this thing
Sorkin rhythm. Yeah.
and
Right.
train you, the audience, to keep up with how fast this story is going to go.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
opposite of what you said. When you make it
Mhm.
slow, you're training the audience to understand, hey, this is going to be slow, so take your time
Right.
and feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And then there's the weird middle ground of like movies like The Irishman where it's like it still has the like American film conventions of like starting late, leaving early,
mhm.
but it's just a lot of that. It's just really long. Or
I don't
like
like that
Killers of the
movie.
Flower Moon. Really? Damn.
Yeah.
I love The Irishman.
Maybe I need to
Um,
watch it
You
again,
like The
but
Irishman?
yeah, I didn't love it the first time. The second time I loved it.
It's
yeah.
too long, dude.
It's
like,
way
it
too
feels
long.
like it's 6 hours, but it's only four and a half.
It's only too long if you're watching it in multiple sittings. I know that
Because there's so
sounds
many time skips.
illogical,
Like there's so many
but
different ports.
when I sat down and just watched it the whole way through, like I loved it. Because the first time I saw it in like 3 sittings, and it was like just felt like it took forever. But
yeah, I think I saw it in
um,
2 or 3 sittings.
yeah, so
I just don't want to
it's
sit there for 4 hours and watch it.
that's fair. I hear that. We should for one of the episodes we should find like an absurdly long film, like some 8-hour movie.
What about the paint drying film?
Oh yeah, just 10 hours of paint drying. We should do a serious review on it on our podcast.
Dude,
Yeah.
there's another one of Edward Yang's movies. It's called A Brighter Summer Day. That's 237 minutes.
Oh my
Oh my
goodness.
gosh.
That's wild. I want to watch it though.
Oped,
Mm.
have you seen Killers of the Flower Moon?
I have.
That's a good
What'd you
film.
think of that?
It was fine. I didn't think it was anything crazy. I got bored, to be honest, watching it.
I thought it was good. I didn't like the ending. I thought it was so abrupt, like a random
Yeah, I didn't like the
show
ending either.
explaining the story.
You're going to have to
really didn't.
remind me
Huh?
of the ending.
What?
The film left virtually no impact on me. That like
ending.
I forgot about it. And I
So
did watch it in multiple sittings, but that being one short one and then another long one. So I don't know.
Leo's character gets caught and he goes to jail and goes to like the court and all that. And I forget what happens. I think it's like the verdict of like guilty or not guilty. And then it just randomly cuts to a stage show telling the story of Killers of the Flower Moon.
Oh,
Yeah, that
so
was dumb.
perfect.
And it's like
It's so
Scorsese.
perfect. It's so perfect.
Bro,
What a,
bro really tried to
The
Wes
ending-
Anderson us.
the ending was like I could explain why you should feel bad, but
Say it.
look what happened. If you
Explain the
no,
movie.
that's what basically what he said. Like, this is what happened. You don't need me to tell you this happened. You need to like look it up yourself. Because Scorsese's always been like a fighter for the
Yeah.
Native Americans. Like
Mhm.
I think for when he won Hugo, the only one he won, a Native American actress went up and started talking. So
Oh yeah.
it was, this movie was basically a love letter for
Yeah,
the pain. Like I understand. Like I don't
right.
understand your pain, but I'm here, and hopefully this
Yeah,
movie can like open up more people. For me, like dang,
right.
dang.
That
But that
is
was
that is
me.
beautiful, and I think in that context it does add a lot to that ending. But I feel like outside of the context, it's just
Oh
a
no,
weird
yeah,
ending.
yeah. For the movie, the ending is doesn't really like there.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
Also, Killers of the Flower Moon is low-key like The Irishman 2. It really is. Like if you watch The Irishman and Killers, like it's like the same beats. Like I'm so
I
serious.
could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm thinking of both of them. I could see that.
right.
I mean, it's the same director.
It is, yeah. And they're both great films. That doesn't discount anything. Like they're both incredible films.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Have you guys seen his film Silence?
No.
I
Oh
have
my
not. I heard.
goodness.
Isn't Adam
Guys,
Driver
yeah.
and
Adam Driver and Andrew Garfield play like
yeah?
missionaries. It's so good. It's such a good
see,
film.
I
I gotta
tried to
watch that
watch
one.
that before I became like not obsessed, but became like a big fan of slow mo
Yeah,
theater.
yeah.
So when I watched, like, I'm like, man, this junk is so slow. So I
It
turned
is
it
pretty
off.
slow. It is.
161
But then,
minutes. It's on my watch list now.
Yeah, it's really
but
good.
I need to. There's a lot of good slow movies.
I
There
think I've
is.
found that I haven't been a huge fan of Scorsese.
That's fair.
I understand like his artistic style and his writing and his cinematography and all that stuff. And like I appreciate it and I like it and I think it's great. But
Yeah.
generally I haven't found myself enjoying too many of his films.
I
Hugo
hear
might
that.
be
I
an
feel
exception.
Hugo's so good.
It's
It's cool
very
because
good.
he just like made that film because he wanted to make a movie for his daughter. I think that's amazing. Um,
I'm trying to
yeah,
watch more of his films so I can actually make a
yeah,
more informed opinion. But based
right.
on what I've seen and tried to watch, I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not my
That's
thing.
fair. Right. I'd
He's
say,
he's right now making a TV show called The Saints,
oh, really?
and it's it's called Martin Scorsese Presents The Saints. It's a TV series. It explores the lives of historical saints like Joan of Arc, Francis Assisi, John the Baptist, Thomas Becket, Mary Magdalene, and Moses the Black, Sebastian. There's a lot of them,
That's really cool.
but apparently it's airing right now.
Oh, that's sick. What
Where?
the heck?
It is on. Hold on. I think it's still going because I think he's about to have another season. Hold on. Let me use the app that you told us about.
Justwatch.com.
The Saints.
I linked it in last week's
Not
Oh, it's a
available
episode.
on any
limited series.
streaming
It's like 4
services.
episodes.
Wait, it's not on a
It's
streaming
on
service?
Fubo.
Bruh.
It's what?
It's on Fubo.
What
If you want to
network is
watch
it
it.
on?
I think it's on.
I'm so
I
confused.
think it's a Fubo original because it says it's streaming.
What is it on? All I
What
see
the?
YouTube, the Roku channel, and it's like Fox Nation. Is it posted? Like I'm so confused.
Fox Nation.
I don't know, but that's like his new project. He didn't direct the episodes. I
Yeah.
think he's just producing it
Oh,
all.
he's
Like all the
producing it.
episodes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meh.
Oh, but the first one is in black and white.
Isn't he
That's
also
cool.
making? He's also making like a Jesus film, right?
He is.
Yeah, it's called The Life of Jesus or something like
Yes,
that.
both Scorsese, Mel Gibson, and Terrence Malick are all making Jesus movies right now. It's really
Damn,
That's
Malick's
interesting.
been making that movie for
crazy.
like 10 years.
Passion of the
Yeah,
Christ
Terrence.
2 is coming out this year.
Yeah, right. That's Mel
That's Mel
Gibson.
Gibson.
So, and then Terrence Malick
What's
has
the
been
second one
in
about?
post-production hell.
What's the second one
the
about?
What's Passion
have
of
you seen the first one,
Christ 2?
Johnny?
When I was a child.
It's a resurrection,
The
bro.
movie ends when the movie ends when he opens the
Oh,
tomb.
Yeah.
okay. Interesting.
It has like a
All the
subtitle to it.
directors were like, Chosen's gonna inspire us. I'm kidding. I'm really excited for Terrence Malick's dude, but he shot his in 2019. He's still editing. Oh,
Oh, whoa. Passion of the Christ Resurrection Part 1 and Passion of the Christ Resurrection
what
Part
the?
2.
He's making. What is part
Wow.
2? What's part 2 gonna be?
Why?
Bro said I'm gonna
I don't know if
capitalize
there's
off the
enough
church.
after the resurrection to justify a Part 1 and 2.
Unless it's gonna talk about Paul,
Bro's
Just
gonna
make
make
a
a
separate
revolution.
movie,
just called Paul.
which is no, it's the Book of Acts. The Chosen's getting the Book of Acts series with
Hey, but
We
nobody.
got a lot of
Wait, the
Bible
The Bible's
movies
not
coming.
copyrighted. Anyone can do it.
translations are copywritten, but yeah.
I've been wanting, I always avoided Scorsese's film, The Last Temptation of Christ, because I was always told in the church that it was like really blasphemous. But I actually have some like, I have a good Christian, like friend who is a Christian, and he like really loves the film. And I was reading reviews about people who watched it and were like, yeah, it's not actually what the church was making it sound like it is. The thing is, like, the movie is like about it's basically about like the temptations Jesus faced, which is biblical, and it's like it kind of goes into like I'm not completely sure, but I think it's like it shows the temptations as if like he were doing them, but then it's like his struggle to whether to choose that or not. But it sounds really interesting. I don't know.
It's like a what if scenario.
Yeah, it's like basically like when he's on the cross, he's like tempted to like leave the cross and marry somebody and just live a normal life, you know? But that's interesting, like, you know, because like he probably did face that. Like, how easy would that be, you know? Um, I don't know, but I
He
mean,
was a human.
yeah, I mean,
He is a human.
yeah,
The Green Goblin himself playing
yep,
Jesus.
Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah, Willem Dafoe.
It's also
And
it's
David
it's
Bowie
also
plays
from
Pontius Pilate.
Oh my gosh.
it's also from a Catholic perspective, not like because he
Yeah,
Evangelical?
because
believes
Scorsese's
Scorsese.
Catholic,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because he's Catholic, so it's like
Yeah. Well, it was a
oh
book
he
first. It was a book,
yeah
and this guy was basically just trying
oh.
to he was trying to reconcile the missing or like not the missing, but the gaps in the Bible, like the life of Jesus that is not talked about and the humanity of him, which is talked
Mhm.
about, but not like, obviously there's way more about Jesus than what's in the Bible, and so he's trying to
Yeah.
like he's not writing it as if like, oh, this is the truth. He's just trying to figure it out. Like he's trying to be like, I wonder what this is like.
Kind of like
So
the
yeah,
Chosen's been doing with the disciples.
right, yeah, literally.
Yeah.
So,
Except it's a much finer line to do it with Jesus.
it is, you know,
Like it's
yeah.
a very, very thin line.
it is.
Mhm.
Yeah, no cap. That's why I feel like Terrence Malick's taking so long editing The Way of the Wind is because like I would also be like ripping my hair out, you know, about like portraying him accurately in the editing room, especially with the style he shoots, like improvised like things and everything.
How
Like
old is this man?
Terrence Malick's like 81, dude. I didn't know he was that old.
Oh Lord,
Dang.
Yeah.
hurry up, bro, please.
He's making movies since the 70s.
Yeah, he made
Jeez,
two
His first two was like in the 70s, right?
yeah, he made two very acclaimed films in the 70s, and then his brother died and he disappeared for 20 years and then came back with The Thin Red Line. Then he made The New World and disappeared for like 9
Interesting.
years and then made The Tree of Life. And then he made three completely improvised movies that most people hate, yet I like two of them. And then he made probably his best film, A Hidden Life.
Which
There
one do
you
you
go.
hate?
I don't like I haven't seen it all, but what I've seen of To the Wonder I don't like. But I like Song to Song and I like Nine of Cups.
Why don't
To
you
the
like
Wonder is
it?
kind of cool. It's not.
Why don't I like
I
what?
agree with you, Sean. Though I do agree with
Okay.
you.
Because the thing
To
is
the
like To the
Wonder.
Wonder is like it's mostly so he made three improvised films that are basically like these like love triangle films, and like like the problem with To the Wonder is that it's shot in like this suburban place, and it's just not like it's just like a weird film. Like, you know what I mean? Like films shot in like modern suburban like places like really throw me off. Night of Cups I think is like phenomenal. It's about like a screenwriter whose brother dies, and then he's just like wandering Hollywood trying to like fill the void with like anything. And that was really good. It has Christian Bale.
I do think To the Wonder of the three is his most abstract, most confusing one.
That's fair,
because
yeah. Of those
like
three.
of those I did enjoy To the Wonder as well, but out
Yeah,
of the three, this is my least favorite one.
that's fair.
Just because it has the love triangle, and it just feels weird. Only because it's Ben Affleck. Like, what is Ben Affleck doing? The cast in this
He's
movie,
just
He's
not that kind of
Batman.
actor. Oh my gosh. Terrence Malick has directed 2 Batmans and got them to like do weird improvised abstract movies. That's so funny.
see,
He
Who's
but
the
made
other
this
like
one
one?
called
in
Song
this
to
one,
Song. Christian
um,
Bale's in Knight of Cups. And
Oh.
yeah,
then, dude, in Song to Song, he has Natalie Portman, Michael Fassbender, Rooney Mara, and Ryan Gosling all like improvising. It's great. Yeah,
such a
What's crazy is Thin Red Line got nominated for 7 Oscars and it didn't win any of
that's
them.
crazy.
That's so
Yeah.
sad. I
I
feel
still need
bad.
to.
That's like what Martin Scorsese went through with Killers of the Flower
No
Moon.
way, bro. I can't believe
He
Killers
got
didn't win
nominated for like
anything.
6 or 7 Oscars,
Yeah.
nothing. And I'm like, what in the world?
Yeah, dude, crazy. It is crazy. It should have won like cinematography, bro. Oppenheimer should not have won cinematography. I'm gonna be so for real right now.
Ooh.
Ooh.
That's a take.
I haven't seen The Thin Red
It's a
Line,
take.
but
Yeah, I need to watch
I
The Thin
need
Red
to.
Line. It's one of the
like
few Malick
Oppenheimer
films I
too.
haven't seen.
Every time in film school, it's like, yeah, Terrence Malick's like my favorite director. Like, why? It's like, yeah, his new stuff. So have you seen Thin Red Line? He's like, no, like, what? You need to go watch that.
Yeah,
I need
it's like
to, because I've
a
seen
lot of
all
people
his
don't.
new ones, and his new ones are like because his style of filmmaking is very like poetic, very
Yeah,
like slow, like you are following the characters, like
yeah,
how Yi is. Yi is poetic to a sense that
right.
everyone is living life. Everyone has different mindsets, but everyone is doing
They're
it
very
together.
mundane.
Yeah, yeah,
Like both Yi and like Terrence Malick films, like they make the mundane very intriguing.
and it's
So
beautiful.
it is. It's so
It
beautiful.
may because it makes you think back on your life, like, oh,
Right, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not like my life is also boring. What I'm not doing nothing. But if you like
Pretty good, John.
romanticize,
You
no,
should,
I'm in films.
Sean, you should listen to when episode 3 comes out. You need to listen to the last half of that one because it's
Really?
just Johnny basically saying, "Yeah, I'm just waiting for Asher to get married."
That's so funny. Oh
I
my
left it in,
God.
by the way. It's
That's
got
Oh my
great.
goodness.
I love that.
but like
Yeah.
the way Terrence Malick does it, the way Edward Yang just like romanticize the daily life of like
Yeah,
every day doesn't have to
right,
be eventful. Like for me, all I do is go to school all day, and like
right.
there's nothing special about me going to school. Like who cares? I'm going to film school.
Yeah,
Something that I don't need to do because nobody would care in the industry. So
yeah,
romanticizing that part of these 2 years of my life, it's like gives you a different perspective. And what what Yi does, it shows how NJ is like, you can tell he's unhappy in the beginning. Like his wife is, he doesn't know how to be there for his family essentially because he's like, all he does is his work. And like towards the end, once he gets close with Ota, um, and once he like almost cheats on his wife with the girl who he loved in the past, um, have once his grandma or his mom is in like a coma state, it's just he still finds the joy of life, which is
Is
a
that his
beautiful
mom
thing.
or
That
his mother-in-law?
I think it's his mom, or is I believe it's his
Oh,
mom.
I thought it was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
My
his
bad.
mom is.
I didn't mean to like ruin this moment. I'm sorry.
No, but like it just shows how your point of view on life affects you as a person. And
Right.
what Yi Yi does shows like once when the boy is asking questions, the dad was like, you know what? Instead of like telling you what a stupid question, I don't care about that. He was like, you know
Yeah.
what? That's a great question. I never thought
Right.
about that before. And then he always tried to get him a camera. Like, here, you have to play with
Right.
this. And then you can see his perspective. It's like, oh, if I capture this, no, my dad will believe me. Or catching the back of people's heads. And then it shows to the daughter's life, who is like essentially a love. Well, I said it earlier, but she's like romanticizing, like, oh, this guy is like, I want what she has because she plays, was a cello. She does it better than me, but she's a good student.
Mhm.
So like, this Yi Yi was based. It's a movie that I think this is what I think is like. If you're happy, just take a look at your own life, because maybe your life is better than
Mm.
who you want to be.
Mm.
But I don't know. That's like one of the. That's what I got from this movie. I'm like, dang, it got me. The ending got me. The ending got me.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't. I almost recorded this without actually having finished the movie, and I'm glad I finished it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's it's something that's just so worth getting to the end. And it opens with a wedding and it ends with a funeral, but
Yeah.
it's
That's
just
crazy.
it's done so well,
Yeah.
so well.
It is.
Oh, and if you the in the in the in the in the in the in the wedding, you can tell the family was like kind of disconnected.
Hmm.
Like everyone was picking on the brother. They were making fun of the
Yep.
little brother, like, oh, he's getting picked on by girls again. And like the dad takes the Yang Yang to McDonald's.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the
Bruh.
end, when he does the monologue or talks to his grandma the last time, they were all there in the room, and it was so intimate. Like, oh,
He's
like
so
the dad,
insightful.
yeah, the dad holds the daughter's hand for the first time in this movie. Like she went through like through a traumatic thing. Like her fleeing killed somebody.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Um,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is
That's
like
crazy. It
that's
puts the other
like
relationships in perspective in
yeah,
like mad retrospect. It's
yeah, and
crazy.
Mhm.
it shows like one, she obviously dodged a red flag. She dodged a bullet. But
no
like
Yeah.
kidding.
she was like in love with him, and she never really showed it to the grandma, and that whole ending, it's like, if this is a dream.
Yeah. No cap.
For sure.
Uh, um, Samantha from Her said, "The past is just a story we tell ourselves."
Oh, what a good movie.
Dang.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
you can make us sad in this podcast.
We should all just
You make
cry.
me
We should all
sad.
just weep for an hour and put it on the podcast.
Just call it.
Bruh.
Well, on that note, I think we're towards the end of our episode.
Woohoo! We
Yay.
did it,
We're gonna do a
guys.
couple things.
Episode 4.
We recommended and mentioned a lot of movies, which will all be linked in the description. But Sean, do you want to do an official random movie recommendation of the week?
Oh, I'm so honored. By the way, you're such a good podcast host. My random movie
Nah,
recommendation. Let me check. Hold on. Let me just check my letterbox real quick. And you can cut this part out if you want where I'm searching.
nope. I'm leaving it in. Do,
He's staying in.
Hold
I'm gonna
on.
try to do my best when I'm editing this. I listen to the whole thing every time before I upload
Dang,
it,
dude.
so I try to link as many movies as possible that we mention.
Yeah,
So
guys, watch Sing Sing. It's life-changing cinema.
Oh my, it's coming out.
So
By
incredible.
the time of this recording, See, when is this recording release?
Yeah, when is Sing Sing coming out? I did want to see that.
Let me see when this
Like
one
on
comes out.
digital?
No. It's coming back to theaters.
Oh,
This
it's coming
episode's
back?
this episode's
Yeah.
released on the 25th of January.
Wait, are you serious?
Re-release. Yeah. It's
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's
it comes out the
crazy.
17th. It comes out the
Oh.
17th. So
Boys, 10 days. In 10 days, we have Oscar nominations,
It's
which
gonna
most
reopen,
likely
yeah.
means that the ones nominated for Best Picture are coming back to theaters. So I'm definitely gonna try and watch those because there's definitely a lot in there I probably haven't seen.
Hold those for a second.
So-
Get that list of movies so you can mention them. And
Mhm.
then, Sean, was your recommendation Sing Sing, or you were just looking
Yeah,
at
it's Sing Sing. Yeah.
which year? Like 2023 or an older one?
The one that just came out this year, 2023. Yeah.
2023.
Okay.
Yeah. Coleman Domingo. Directed by Greg Kudar. Kudar?
Mm-hmm.
Why does that look familiar?
Do you have another recommendation, Sean? Or is that it?
I do. I guess I'll do another one if you want.
I was just asking because sometimes you have more than one, so I wanted to make sure I wasn't cutting you off.
You're good. Also, guys, watch. Watch Francis Ha. Yeah, Francis Ha is so good.
Francis Ha.
I got one.
Okay.
I got one.
Okay.
It's What's Inside.
Ooh, I heard that
Directed
was
by
fire.
Greg Jordan.
You met him, right?
I did meet him.
Nice. I met the Sing Sing
So
cast.
and this is on Netflix. It's like it's a movie that it's a fun movie. If it's like a whodunit.
Right.
That's all I'm gonna say. But
My
it's like-
coworker saw it. She said it's good.
Asher, we all, Johnny and Sean gave recommendations. Do you want to give one? I'm gonna give one.
Is this a movie like on our watch list or like
No.
a movie we okay?
A movie you want to recommend to
Um,
people. It can be something you absolutely love. It could be something. Well, it probably shouldn't be something you want to see because it's a recommendation based on things you've seen.
This is a classic. Some people don't like it. I love it. Watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds. It's really good.
Ooh.
I haven't seen
Love
it
the
yet.
birds.
old school.
I made my mom scared
Yes,
of
sir.
birds.
This is a great movie. I've never been more terrified of crows in my life, bro.
I almost bought it this week, but I opted for Doctor Strangelove and Balto instead.
Wait, what?
Balto.
Yeah, I love Balto, bro. I watched the movie so
Balto's
much as a
goated.
kid, and it doesn't stream anywhere.
Mhm.
So as soon as it was on sale, I was like, yes. My recommendation, because I watched it this week and I like it, is The Imitation Game with Benedict
Oh, I
Cumberbatch.
heard that was really good.
It is a
Ooh.
very,
I
very
did hear
good
it.
movie, and I think might be my favorite performance from Mr. Benny Cumberbun.
What the freak? Do you think it's better performance than Sherlock?
They're
Who's in Sherlock?
yeah, he plays Sherlock in the TV show.
Oh, it's
They
TV
they
show.
might be on par. They're different. This one's more dramatic, I think. And you just see him being dramatic. So Sherlock, great performance, and The Imitation Game, great performance as well.
Guys, there's a movie called Better Man that just came out, and
Oh, the guy that's a monkey.
yeah,
Yeah,
I heard it flopped.
it's flopping hard.
it is, but it's getting really good letterbox reviews.
It only has a 3.6 out of 5.
I mean, that's still high for letterbox.
That's pretty decent.
that is.
Yeah.
Mm.
The
Letterbox-
best letterbox
letterbox
movies
reviewers
have like
rate
4.2,
hard.
4.4. So anything above a 3.5 means it's a good movie on letterbox.
I need to read this review. It says, well, it was reviewed by Mal Farkar. It gave 4 stars, and it said this prequel sets up Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes quite well.
That's so
Someone
funny.
else said laughably bad, some exciting cinematography and music, but terrible execution. I should have seen Wicked, but instead I held space for this 2-hour waste. Interesting.
5 stars. He's a monkey. That's it.
Monkey.
I heard it was like great in like was it the UK, but that's because he's from the UK, right?
Yeah, he's from the UK.
But
I
I
think
heard every time he tries to make it in America, it never goes well.
I was
He's done
listening
like 4
to
times.
the Raiders of the Lost podcast, great movie podcast. They do like
Okay.
news episodes,
Hmm.
and they were talking about this film, and they said that most likely the reason why it flopped so hard is just because he's not as big, at least in the U.S.,
Yeah.
as he might be in other places. So it just kind of meant nothing to most people.
What's
Gotcha.
interesting, the guy who directed the movie directed The Greatest Showman. It's the same director.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
I refuse to watch that movie.
Me too.
Really? What's wrong? Greatest Showman.
Is the little sister list?
I just refuse. To watch
Anissa, if you're hearing me, don't kill Oka.
Whoa.
Anissa loves The Greatest Showman.
She can love it all she wants. I don't want to watch it.
So
You know what's
I
a good
heard our next
musical?
movie is 2024 Mean Girls.
Nope.
Good
Good transition,
that was
though.
rough.
Let's talk about the next film. Next week's movie is 2010's
Chase.
True Grit.
Oh, let's go.
This is Chase's pick,
This
right?
was Chase's pick. He's unfortunately not here today. But yeah. So 2010's True Grit. It is 110 minutes. It's rated PG-13. So there's your warning if you can't watch a PG-13 movie. It was directed by Ethan and
mama.
Joel Cohen.
Ooh.
So
Dude, the Coen brothers are incredible.
yeah. It's also starring people, which is really cool.
Starring
wait.
people.
The cast includes Jeff Bridges, Haley Steinfeld, Matt Damon, Josh Brolin. I don't know who Barry Pepper is.
Holy cow.
But it's got a good cast.
Yeah, bro.
It's
Like
loaded.
Josh Brolin.
What in the world?
Like, never mind. I'm not gonna say.
Ooh, Dom.
Huh?
Sounds so bad.
Domino Gleason.
All I remember about this movie is that Josh Brolin spanks Haley Steinfeld.
Oh boy.
Dude, dang, you spoiled it for me.
I'm
Okay,
gonna read
wait, that
the
sounds weird.
synopsis real quick. Yeah,
Bro.
I'm leaving it in though.
Please don't. I'm gonna get canceled.
No, don't do it.
I'm gonna read the synopsis real quick. Following the murder of her father by a hired hand, a 14-year-old farm girl sets out to capture the killer. To aid her, she hires the toughest U.S. Marshal she can find, a man with true grit, Reuben J. Rooster. That's the synopsis.
Hey, let's go.
Ooh. It's a bounty hunter movie.
As of recording this, it is on Paramount Plus. So
Bet.
you can watch it
I have
there
that.
if you have that. And for streaming, it was not streaming anywhere last I checked, but I'm going to check right now just to be sure. No, sorry, per sales. It is currently on sale as of recording this, which is January 7th. It is $5 everywhere.
Nice.
So if you want to buy it, you can buy it. If you want to stream it, it's streaming. And if you have Hoopla, it's also streaming on there.
Heck is Hoopla.
Hoopla, if you don't know, is a service much like Canopy, which is designed to connect to your library card system. So you can watch a ton of free movies as long as you have a valid library card, which is a really cool way of watching movies.
That's actually
So,
sick.
yeah.
What the heck?
I need
I
to
need a
check
library
my
card.
library card because I think it's expired, but I'll just get a new one. Yeah, we'll go over more details of this film after we've seen it, but that is next week's movie. So if you don't want to be spoiled by our conversation, I recommend watching it before listening, or if you don't care, then don't watch it. But watching movies is good, so watch True Grit. Yeah, anything you guys want to say before we close out?
Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Thank you
Listening.
for listening
Thanks
to
for
me be
listening,
sad on the
guys.
podcast. Thank you for listening to me not be down bad. What's the other word? Longing, yearning. Because I'm not down bad.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Hey, if I was, I would have been married. I had like 3 kids.
Whoa.
On that note, you could follow us on Instagram at watchlist.podcast and listen to us pretty much anywhere: YouTube, iTunes, or not iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and should be any RSS reading podcast player. Yeah, follow us, comment if you have movie recommendations, and we can do polls on Spotify. We don't currently have a reason to do a poll, but maybe one day we will.
You can do polls on Instagram.
We can. You should follow us on Instagram because we post so much on there. I'm exaggerating. I have no idea how much we post on there. Chase oversees that. So, but you can follow us there. We post clips of the episodes after they come out, as well as their release dates and what the upcoming films are. So yeah, thanks for listening, and
Awesome.
we'll talk next week. Bye.
All right, guys. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
See ya.
Woo.
Oh, he left.